How's it going, people? As you guys know, if you've been paying attention to my channel, Guardians of the Galaxy, Ant-Man, and Doctor Strange are coming out in 4K Ultra HD next week. So that means that I have to review the movies this week for you guys leading up to that, because that's what I do for Marvel and DC. And these are the last three left to come out in 4K. So today I will be talking about Guardians of the Galaxy. And this was directed by James Gunn, and it stars Chris Pratt, Bradley Cooper, Zoe Saldana, Dave Bautista, and Vin Diesel, along with a few other people. And this was the movie that people were the most skeptical about when it came to Marvel. I mean, how were you going to adapt this? You know, a talking raccoon and a talking tree, and who is Star-Lord? Who are any of these people? Who are the Guardians of the Galaxy? Nobody really read those comics when they came out, and they were the unknown as far as the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they just seemed like it would be a hard fit. But hey, we all know the end of this story. This movie was huge, and it turned out to be a real turning point for Marvel. You know, so many movies have kind of modeled themselves after this movie. And, you know, Thor Ragnarok was one of them. And even outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, you know, you have Suicide Squad that modeled itself so much after Guardians of the Galaxy that they actually got James Gunn to direct the second one that will be coming out in a few years. Yeah, it's just all over the place today, and it all started with this film. You know, you have this likable cast. You know, Chris Pratt as Star-Lord is just amazing. And, you know, he has a real charisma to him. He has the snarkiness of Robert Downey Jr. And then he has the roguish scoundrel quality of Harrison Ford. And if you stir that and you put that in a bucket and stir, you get Chris Pratt and Star-Lord. And that is just, you know, a really, really iconic character to the Marvel Cinematic Universe now. And, you know, all of these other characters aren't as popular, but they definitely, they definitely hold their own as far as Gamora. You know, Zoe Saldana has done the most physical work when it comes to this cast, and I do believe that it shows. She does great stunts here, and I love her makeup as well. She's great as the straight man to Star-Lord. And I kind of misspoke before, because the two characters that really stood out in this film, and to a lot of other people, are Groot and Rocket, played by Vin Diesel and Bradley Cooper. And this is some of the best voice work around. As far as Rocket goes, you know, Vin Diesel, you know, just says, "I am Groot." But, you know, I just really love these two characters. The CGI work is great, and it only gets better in sequels. And, yeah, this is, as far as just comedy and likability for these characters, you don't get better than this. And this is going to carry this movie, because other parts are kind of thin. You know, when you get to the plot, these four are just chasing this MacGuffin, and they really, it's just a quest to get this crystal that they are searching for. And even though this is the Marvel template up to you know, Avengers Endgame, really, when we're just searching for rocks, we're searching for MacGuffins, and you know, this movie is no different. But the plot here leading up to that is just paper thin. They are really relying on these characters in this movie, and that is why when I first really saw this movie, I feel like I was a lot harder on it than most people were. If I was reviewing this weekend of, I would have actually given this a 5 out of 10 just because my initial reaction to this movie was, wow, this is real surface level light stuff. I mean, there isn't just a lot of meat on the bone when it comes to this movie. If you aren't laughing at these jokes in this movie, and they are funny jokes, but if you aren't laughing, you're not going to like this movie because it's just that there's nothing else to grab onto. You know, you have a villain who also wants the stone that is Ronan, and Ronan is such a paper-thin villain. You know, he has this whole relationship with Thanos, and he wants to betray Thanos, but it just gets kind of muddled, and it's very ill-defined just because they want to focus so much on the yucks in this movie. And initially, I just responded very negatively to that. But eventually, I really had to put that aside and see what this movie actually does really excellent. And I've already talked about the cast and their chemistry. They were great with each other. But, you know, the world building here and just the scope of this film and the look of this movie with the purple hues and the yellow embers, you know, it's just, it really just is a stark contrast to the rest of the visual style of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You know, this movie just really has a visual style that is great world building, and this movie does excellent when it comes to world building, and I feel like that is another thing that people really responded to. And you know, when you add all of that together, and when I kind of take time to really assess everything in this movie, you know, you come out to a 7 out of 10 for me. You know, you have a movie that it has great world building, excellent world building. You have characters that are so likable, and you want to see them again in a movie that kind of features them better and gives them more characterization, what makes them them. They only get like one scene in this movie to really show their character. So coming up next, I do have to review Ant-Man for you guys. I am filming that right after this video, so that means that I will be getting it to you guys real soon, and I thank all of you for watching. You guys are awesome. I don't need to say it because you know it, and I will see all of you next time.